Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you may be. I appreciate everybody taking the time to join us. My name is Scott Morris. We are back with another one of our retailer to publisher webinars. This time around, I'm joined by Kyle Nunn of Alderac Entertainment Group, one of the longest names to really be known as just AEG. Most people know them as AEG alone. We're going to be talking about some really cool things. They have a brand new game called Dog Lover coming up, which, as many of you may know, Cat Lady has done extremely well in the industry. Cats in general sell, but Cat Lady has been like top of the charts for a very long time, which is really good to see. And Dog Lover looks to be, I guess, the spiritual successor, which we'll talk about. And we're also going to talk about one of the topics that is very near and dear to my heart right now, which is holiday products, things that are in stock or coming in stock for the holidays. As we're recording this right now, since we do put this on YouTube, it's probably good to put a timestamp on it, but we're recording it on the 20th of October, 2021. Which is right before Black Friday, right before the real kind of big push on things. And from what I'm hearing, and retailers would love to hear your comments on this as we're going through live, from what I'm hearing, it's already started, with all of the talk about supply chain issues and challenges from shipping and things like that. I'm already talking to a lot of people who are telling me that, yes, casual foot traffic is coming in. We're getting a lot of orders on the web store or whatever it may be. So there's quite a bit happening right now. So this is very, very opportune time for everything. As a reminder, for anyone who's here live, I always like to say everything is on the table. You're welcome to ask any questions you like. If you hover over your video window and click on the chat bubble, there is a way to send a message to either the hosts, which are myself and Kyle, or you can do a host and panelist for everyone to see. As always, Kyle, you don't have to mess around with that. I'll watch that, and as questions come up, work them into the conversation on everything. But everything is more than likely and more than willing to come up, and we'll have a good conversation about it. If you are here watching on YouTube, and this is on the recorded version, by all means, feel free to leave a question below in the comments. We'll be happy to get back to you with any kind of answers we can get for you. And of course, if you're feeling exceptionally awesome, feel free to give us a like and a subscribe and get notifications turned on so that you can get information when we put new webinars up online. But really do appreciate everyone taking the time to join us. Kyle, really appreciate you taking the time to join us. I'm going to take my face that was made for radio, let it shut up, and I'm going to let you get talking, man. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having us, Scott. We always love coming to your webinars. They're one of my favorite things to do.
Awesome.
So, there you go.
I do my best to make them entertaining and educational, right?
Everything we look for out of the education system.
Yes.
So how's everybody doing today? All six of us right now. We are talking about Dog Lover today. Dog Lover, like Scott said, is the spiritual successor to Cat Lady. Has the same aesthetics. I just have my recently acquired copy. We were hoping to release it at the end of this year, but due to delays that everybody is facing, we've had to shove it into 2021. Current release date is February 25th for brick and mortar retailers. So it'll be early release. You'll get 2 weeks early. If you were familiar with Cat Lady, it is very similar. You have the same tokens, the same wooden cubes, and it's going to score very similarly. There are some differences, whereas in set collection and other aspects are still there, but there are going to be traits and aspects that get attached to the dog. So you have different dog sizes instead of colors, like in Cat Lady. And then different attributes can go onto different dogs. So if you have a small size attribute, it has to go into a small size dog. The attributes do different things. They almost always give points, but they change the way the game's played.
Wait a minute. Do you mean that my 8-pound, 6-ounce Dachshund can't have the attribute of killer attack dog?
I mean, I would imagine the Dachshund has that.
Right. Just innately, right?
Just innately. But the biggest difference between the game of Cat Lady and Dog Lover is tricks. So in Cat Lady, you draft the column or the row. It's all in a 3x3 grid. But in Dog Lover, you get tricks. And so I'm going to try to do this with as little glare as possible. So the stand allows you to draft cards in an L pattern. It cannot be rotated. It has to be done in an exact pattern. Give a
I was
couple
going
of
to
more
say for a
examples.
second there, I'm like, wait a minute, is this a polyomino game? And I didn't realize this. I was like,
Here's bow. It's a L that's down on the bottom with one up on the side. And then also spin. There are plenty of more tricks in the that you can teach your dogs. Even the old dogs can learn new tricks. The rule goes, if you remember the cat meeple from Cat Lady, we have the dog meeple. This is the guard dog specifically. The guard dog will prevent you from drafting more than one card from that column or row. So in spin, we'll use this as an example. If the guard dog was here, or on the top on those two, you could not use this card. You could not use this trick because it takes more than one. But in the situation of bow, you could. You could take anything except for the first column, or the last column, as I try to read it backwards from the camera. So, but yeah, it's all similar done. It's all the same price point. It's $24.99. And
I think that's kind of important, right? It's not just Cat Lady with a dog theme. It's a
correct.
completely new game in terms of mechanics and things, like obviously with the tricks. I mean, that's not in Cat Lady at all, right? So it's not like this is something where you're just reskinning things completely. Like it is
Right.
it is its whole new experience.
Exactly. It is a new game. It is absolutely a spiritual successor. There's a lot of similarities, but everything down to the way like set collection, everything worked in Cat Lady. There are different mechanics to the way it works in Dog Lover. In Cat Lady, the only direct similarity is that you have cats and dogs that you need to feed food. The food is different in the games, but you still put the cubes on them. All of the other mechanics that I can remember off the top of my head from playtesting, before it was printed, was is there's slight differentiation. You don't just do a set collection; you have to attach it to the dog, and the dog's like different types of toys, and you can use instead of cat posters, you have dog training manuals, and those are which allows you to get tricks. So it is a different game. But people who liked Cat Lady are going to like Dog Lover, unless it was just for the cats.
Right.
So.
I was going to say that's one of the things. I know a lot of people that I've talked to that have used Cat Lady as like gift items, right? Where it's like I'm going to a party or a white elephant party or birthday party or anything like that, and they know the person likes cats, so it's a very easy pickup on everything. That was one of the things I remember when Todd Rowland from AEG first introduced me to Cat Lady, and we sat down to play. Is it was superbly easy, right? Like we're not talking about high levels of Twilight Imperium strategy here. This is something that you can play with your grandkids or your grandparents, and coupling that with the price, you're in a really good sweet spot. But there are some people who, I mean, like myself, I have 5 dogs, right? So
Yep.
while I don't have anything against cats, I might really prefer Dog Lover over Cat Lady. So it gives people an option as to what they would want to get when they're looking at gifts for stuff like that, right?
Absolutely.
Which is very cool. And especially, Cat Lady's probably obviously going to do very well as we lead into the holidays, but then following it up right after that in the beginning of the year with Dog Lover will be a good timing for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing a big resurgence of dog games.
Yeah.
So I could even see having a cat and dog display with Cat Lady and Dog Lover, Calico,
Sure.
Isle of Cats. There's tons of them out there, and then I know there's plenty of dog games. I cannot remember them off the top of my head right now.
It's funny that you say that, because I just had this conversation with someone last week about how they had played You've Got to Be Kidding Me from Ultra Pro. And they had mentioned, they said, well, sometimes I feel like there's a lot of cat games, and sometimes I feel like there's not a lot of cat games. I said, yeah, it tends to hit and miss. I said, but here's the thing that I've noticed. There are quantity wise a lot of cat games. And there are, like we've said, there's a lot of things that are coming around for dogs. In fact, there was just a big, I think Dog Park was a big Kickstarter that
Yep.
was just on recently as well. So, like anything else, pirates, zombies, anything, like there tends to be kind of runs, almost like trying to get tight ends in fantasy football. Like once one person does it, everyone kind of jumps in on that. But the reality is that while there could be 30, 40, maybe 50 games about cats or about dogs, the ones that rise to the top stay at the top, right? Yep. Cat Lady's been out for what, 3 years now or 2 years?
It's been 3 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and it's still like we're constantly restocking it, we're constantly selling it. Like that has been at the top of the heap, right? And I remember when Exploding Kittens came out, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, that's just going to kill everything else." It's like, no, that's just that has raised itself to the upper echelon, and now that there's these several options in that echelon, which is a good thing, right? You don't want to have just one game on cat or one game on pirates, right? You want to have options for things like that. So I could easily see the same thing where someone has a small, like, maybe a 3-foot section of their shelf that have, cats on one shelf, dogs on another shelf, and things like that. So, but obviously the SRP of the games is a big factor for you guys, right? Because you've done fairly well this year, given the challenges with the logistics and the shipping costs and everything else. And to keep the SRPs of games like this in an affordable position for the consumers means that it's going to be easy for the retailers to sell. So
we are, funny enough, for the longest time, I was trying to figure out why our logistics weren't being truly affected. I knew our costs were going up, but we didn't see a lot of delays. And I was talking to our logistics guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. It's on its way. It'll it'll hit us." And this was Dog Lover was actually
behind the green curtain.
The Dog Lover was actually the first title that got truly pushed.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of week delays. And so I was like, ooh, we're really lucky, or we're really good at something. I don't know which at this point. And then Dog Lover sat in port for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and cancel that release for this year.
It's definitely gotten much crunchier, I would say, this latter part of the year. But like you said, I mean, you guys, even back at the beginning of the year when you guys were releasing Cubitos and stuff like that, like you've done extremely well. And like you mentioned, you've only had maybe a week here, 2 weeks here, or anything like that. And those are pretty manageable, right? Yep. I think the industry as a whole is just struggling with the challenge of the port congestion right now. And yep. A lot of other things. I made a comment to my owners this week that, the next kind of thing that we're looking at is the power outage crisis that's happening in China and what's kind of going on with that. So there's definitely a lot to keep eyes on. But to me, that kind of all leans back into what I have said and preached for a very long time, which is brands first, games second, right? If I look at AEG as a catalog, as an entire brand of games, you guys have so much that is so good that I don't like, it's not going to kill my store if Dog Lover doesn't come out until February or March, right? You've got Smash Up, which is just literally on freaking fire. Like every time I turn around, you've got everything from Cubitos, you got Ecos, you got Tiny Towns. You have so much that you guys have built up, and inside each of those have become like mini brands, right? I mean, Tiny Towns is on its, I think, second or third expansion right now. You guys are doing extremely well with that. We did extremely well with it throughout the year, and that's a game that also is a very consumer friendly game for the holidays as well. So you guys got quite a lot in terms of people being able to focus on for the holidays. So Sean Wainwright says, so tell me about Ferret Wrangler coming in Q3 2022.
Well, first I have to take over Scott's suggestion of Lizard Lover from before.
Oh, that is too funny. I don't know if Ferret Wrangler would work as much. I mean, there's a lot of people that like ferrets, so maybe just call that one Marmot or something. So for anyone who's in live, Kyle just posted a tremendous link. We use this on almost a daily basis. This is a public Google Doc sheet, and I'm sure you don't have a problem with this, Kyle. I'll put it into the video description as well for anyone that's watching on YouTube. So this spreadsheet that Kyle just linked to has everything from the product codes, titles, and MSRPs. It also has case quantities. It has map. It has street dates. It has dimensions. It has availability, what's in stock, what's out of stock, when things are going to be available. So like, for example, if I go there and I look at line 13, which is Dog Lover, it tells me that it will be available in Q1 of 2022. It tells me they're 24 per case. Really, really, really good stuff. So that's something I would highly recommend if you're a retailer, or if you have a buyer for board games at your retailer store, have them bookmark that, because that is kind of the Bible when it comes to AEG, at least for us on our side. Like, whenever we're trying to restock stuff, that's where we go to make sure, what's available and what's not available. But it's a really, really good thing for y'all to be able to use as a tool, which is great.
And I update it practically on a daily basis, so
You.
it will almost always be up to date, unless I do not know something yet. So I wanted to link to this because this is actually what I want to chat about next.
Sure.
Recently we've released Cascadia. I am happy to announce that I am 100% out of it. It has all been shipped to distribution. So if you would like copies of Cascadia for your store, you should go ahead and get on that one. It is going to run out quickly. It has been an amazing seller for us so far. Cubitos, I have that coming back next week. I have enough to fill orders. Do not have much coming in after that. I think we only have we have less than 3,000 extra units that are going to be floating just from pre-orders. So that will be, it's coming back, but it'll be limited quantity. I do not expect it to last through November for us. And that is if it doesn't just happen immediately.
And we do have quite a bit of that on pre-order already, or on restock order with you guys. But yeah, definitely. I think right now, just quickly doing a scan of the system, we have about 50% more on order than what we have on sales orders. So we do still have some room, but if you're a retailer that needs to get that, definitely make sure to put that in, because that's going to be one that once that one dries up, that'll be a next year thing after that.
Yes, it will be. It is back on press, but everything between Chinese New Year's and all the delay, this is the weirdest point to be reprinting product, because you can get it in, but may not necessarily get it out.
Yeah, that may be something that'll be end of January stress time to kind of get that shipping on everything. So, and that's a whole, I mean, we could do an entire webinar on what could or could not happen from Chinese New Year, I think.
Yes.
So,
bunch of charts, lots of zigzags, lines going everywhere. John Madden drew it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, this container goes this way. For sure. Cubitos is great though. I mean, that was a highly colorful, like really good release back when it happened early in the year, and is maintained throughout the year, which is really good to see.
Who doesn't like just throwing a ton of dice down and then re-rolling them constantly?
Right.
Like, it's like playing 40K without having to worry about your spatial awareness. Just throw the dice.
That's awesome. I'm gonna try that next time I go to my game store. People are playing 40K. I'm gonna bring Cubitos and go, okay, guys, just stay with me here.
Just watch. All you have to do is throw the dice.
That'd be pretty funny.
Beyond that, we have several things in stock. The only smash up I'm out of is science fiction double feature. Mm-hmm. Everything else is available. So the entire smash up line, we ordered it up, made sure we had it in for Q4. We have Point Salad in stock, Santa Monica, and this year's Sheepy Time is also available. I have
another one that's a great holiday buy. I mean, that is one that last year did phenomenal for our retailers at Christmas time. It's just such a good, whether you're a gamer or whether you're not a gamer, that's just a solid gift game.
Yep. 10 and Whirling Witchcraft, our big game night games from this year, are available and in stock. There is very limited supply for us on this side. So if you were looking to carry that for Q4, definitely reach out to your distributor.
Those two have been all over social media too. Man, I am like, I saw Theo make a post about whirling witchcraft, and like ever since then, it's like every time I open up my Twitter feed, there's something about whirling witchcraft. There's something about 10. It's like that kind of all kicked into high gear here recently, which is really cool to see.
Whirling Witchcraft it is a phenomenal game.
Yeah,
It is. My wife loves it. My wife is. I gave a copy to my family,
nice.
and she was like, "You gave away our copy of Whirling Witchcraft." I'm like, I know. I happen to be able to get another one.
You're
It'll
like, I
be
know a
okay.
guy. It's okay.
I know some people who know some people who can get me a copy.
Right.
Um, but the game is a lot of really hardcore gamers didn't care for the win mechanic,
Really?
but it is brilliant. It is a game we sat down and we designed it and we knew what it was going to end up playing like. It is, for anybody who hasn't played it, it is effectively the chocolate factory episode of I Love Lucy,
Yes.
except for instead of chocolate, it's spellcrafting components.
Right.
And it's just this cauldron, and you're passing it from left to right. And you're using spells to turn these components into other components. And you were just trying to overload the witch to your left. And or yeah, you pass to the
Yeah.
left
Yeah.
in that, and then you also have a rotating card hand. So
Yep.
you have a list of spells that you can use. You can play one every turn, and then you pass the cauldrons, but you pass the spells the opposite way.
Yep.
And so you are looking for spells to overload your opponents and to clear out your backlog so you don't get overloaded. And it plays super quickly. It's not intended to be this
Right.
long drawn out game. It's meant to be this fun, quick 10-15 minute game that you can play over and over again, or it's a filler game. It is excellent. It is such a good theme, especially with Halloween right now.
Yeah.
Like uh, it is in a bright, colorful, beautiful box, which is the only reason I'm sad that I gave it away, because I don't have it sitting here. It's a beautiful purple, pink,
Yep.
deep colors with a yellow logo. It stands out on the shelf.
It kind of has that
Uh,
hocus pocus feel to it on the cover, right? Because
yep,
you got the witches around the cauldron and everything like that. Yeah,
exactly.
it reminded me a bit of have you ever played Gizmos from
Yes.
Cool Mini or Not? It reminded me of that in the sense that it has the engine building. But to your point about the passing of the cards, that to me makes it so much more strategic because you're sitting here trying to pick the right card from your hand to make the right spell so you can overload the opponent to your left, but then you've got to give up 3 of those cards that are more than likely going to be used against you.
Yep.
So you have to really think, okay, if I hate draft this, I'm going to be safe, but I'm not going to overload him. But I'm like, what's the right choice, right? Do I need to protect
Right.
myself? Do I need to hurt my opponent? And I thought that was so cool. I mean, it was so much fun with that. But it has been, that and 10 have been everywhere on social media that I've looked, which is really, really cool.
10 is another game from Flat Out. Flat Out has just been killing it.
Yeah, literally.
I can't say enough about their talents. It is, in essence, you could say Uno-esque, but it is obviously not just Uno. It is a drafting bidding system where you're trying to get your cards 1 through 10, and it is sold astonishingly well. Normally, what happens in big game night is we have a clear winner, and one game just is super popular. The others sell extraordinarily well, but not to that degree. Cat Lady did it. Point Salad did it. All of the things sold out, but at least 1 or 2 of them will generation jump and be sold for years to come. 10 and Whirling Witchcraft are both right at the top of that spectrum, and we expect to be reprinting both of them moving forward.
That's awesome. Sweet. The one thing that I do want to make sure that retailers know about, we've talked a lot about a lot of different titles. AEG is actually part of our official demo program. So if you have not participated in that, this may be like the perfect time to participate in that. It's a very simple program. We basically allow retailers that are storefront retailers to purchase a copy of a base game, only base games, no expansions. But you can get a base game at 25% of SRP. You can utilize that for display, for demo, whatever you may do. I know Lately, it's a lot of display discussion is what I've been having with a lot of retailers. I think, in fact, my I won't say who it was, but there was a retailer that I talked to about 3 weeks ago who made the comment to me. He's like, I don't think I'll ever have tables in my store again. I just want people to buy and go home. And I was like, okay. So that was kind of funny. But I know that there's a lot of people looking at display stuff where they just, maybe bring in a game like Cat Lady and only put maybe 4 or 5 cards on display. And I saw one retailer told me that he actually invested in a bunch of those. You ever see those little plastic triangle kind of displays that normally are used for like plates? He did that, but they're really small. They're very, very like only like 2 inches, because they fit cards, and the cards go in there and they're stood up and facing out rather than flat like on a surface or anything, which makes it look great. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous. But I know that displays are a big thing as well. So if there are any AEG games that you would want to have in your store as a display copy or as a demo copy, let your sales rep know. We can get you one of those set up, and that would be just awesome for the holiday time period.
Yeah, and I know we only have a couple of minutes left. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer what I can.
I did let Sean know in chat that Ferret Wrangler will come out after Lizard Lover and Hedgehog Runner, which is going to be an IP. No, I'm kidding. That would be pretty amazing, though. But we'll just leave it at that.
Wow, wait for the spoilers, Scott.
Right, I know. Right, yeah. I don't know that much. I wish I did. I don't. So I just saw Julio log in, said he's a little bit late. No worries, no worries. Richard Toom said, apologize if I missed it. Is there a Black Friday thing this year? That's a good question. I know you guys have done stuff like that in the past around Black Friday.
No, so we do big Q4 blowouts just through mostly stuff that we are not moving through hobby. We do some weird targeted things. We do not focus on doing any end consumer sales specifically that take up any of our hobby market. We sell through distributors and hobby retailers, and that is just who we are. So yes, we are. You'll probably see some ads rolling through, but we never sell all that much. I think our record sales from any month is some 1% of our hobby sales. So yeah, we don't have anything going through distribution retail, mainly just because we don't have any stock of anything except for core titles.
Sure.
So we have core titles in stock. We don't have anything really that we're trying to blast through, and we have limited stock on so many things that it's just doesn't really work out for us to do it this year.
Yeah, ironically, in the last few years, it's been I have stock at the end of the year, and now it's like completely opposite.
Yeah.
Am I going to have stock at the end of the year?
Like we have all the war chest right now. We have very little of any of the war chest left. So
Scott Pittner asked a great question. So we've had a couple of programs, obviously, that have had the guaranteed sales and buyback options. I know we did that with Kabutos. We did that with Tiny Towns and some other things, and those have done very well. He asks, are there any upcoming titles that will be doing that guaranteed sales buyback program? I really appreciate that program.
So I will give you the short spoiler that that program is going to exist. It is planned to pick up in early 2022. It is going to be evolving just a little bit, and I will have lots of details for you at Gamma.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's good to know. I know that those titles have done extremely well for retailers. So
I believe I can go ahead and tell you that the next game that will be available for is the retail version of Monsters and Meeples.
Nice. And that was the big one that you had on Kickstarter earlier this year.
Yeah, we did a big bag building worker placement game. It feels in the same vein of Thunderstone Quest, but that's just in the field. It is a very, very different game.
Sure.
So
awesome. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that program. If anyone's not familiar with the program or hasn't seen it before, To kind of summarize it in a nutshell, is it's a situation where, as a retailer, if you pre-order X amount of games by a certain date, you can then be able to return up to X amount of games by 90 days after that. So if you don't have them sold through, you have the option to be able to return them and get refunds on them, which is a really great way of the publisher kind of putting their money where their mouth is and saying, hey, this is a title we believe in, and we believe in it so much that we're willing to back it, which is really, really good. And you obviously can't do that on everything. If everything's important, nothing's important. But the titles that we have done those programs on with AEG have been extremely, extremely well received. You go back and look at all of them, Ecos, Space Base, Tiny Towns, Cubitos, they've all done extremely well, not just at launch, but they've continued on. And I think that's one of the most important things. Is this industry is so filled with what I call fireworks games, things that come out and everyone's like, whoa, it's amazing. Oh, it's beautiful. And then a month later, like, nobody talks about it because it just kind of fades away. Right. And you guys have done a really good job of picking the winners in that program that are not going to be a firework. They're going to light up and they are going to explode when they go off, but they're not going to fade away, which has been really, really good. I mean, every single one of those titles is at least 9 months old. I mean, Cubitos came out like March or April this year, and we're still selling them and still restocking them. So yeah, that's all very, very good stuff. So
we like to think of them as Roman candles. You're trying to figure out how many more times it's going to shoot before.
I love it. There you go.
What count is this? Did we buy a 5, or is this one of the 9 ones? Like,
there you go. There you go. But it's good to hear that program has worked out well for you too, Scott. So that's awesome to hear. So cool. Well, that looks like all the questions that have come in. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to join us, retailers. Kyle, obviously, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Tell Todd that he's docked a day's pay for not coming, because we always like to see him too. So it would be nice to get him on one of these if we ever get the chance in the future again.
I'll shame him.
There you go. Well, just give him a slight tap on the shoulders.
But speaking of Todd, I have a quick reminder.
Yeah.
2022 is the 10th anniversary of Smash Up.
It's 10 years old.
10 years old, and you're going to be seeing a lot of special stuff out of us this year.
That's very cool, man. That's
or next year.
Crazy to think it's 10 years old. That's right though, because I remember it was 2012. And I was at Gen Con, and that was where I met Paul Peterson, because Rodney Smith and I did an interview with him and with Todd in the booth. Man, I'm old. Okay, thank you. That's crazy. But no, definitely really do appreciate you guys taking the time. Obviously, give our best to John Zinzer. We hope he's doing well. Tell him we love him. Retailers, thank you again so much for joining. If you're here live, really appreciate you taking the time. If you're watching recorded, as always, like I said, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscription, and feel free to turn on notifications so you know about when more webinars are coming your way. As a reminder, in case anyone missed it at the beginning, we are going to slowly be winding these down over the next couple of weeks, because we are leading into the holidays. I have a personal belief that I would much rather have y'all focused on your stores and holiday sales and end of year inventory management, all the things that you guys have to do and in that short period of time frame on everything. So we'll probably be wrapping these up right around the week of or week before Thanksgiving. But as always, if you have questions, you can reach out, contact me anytime. My email is smorris@gtsdistribution.com. And that's a great point, Kyle. If everyone has questions about AEG or wants to reach out directly, what's the best way for them to reach you guys directly?
It is sales@alderac.com.
There you go. And you just put it in chat, almost like you read my mind.
I could see the writing on the wall.
There you go. There you go. Awesome. Well, retailers, I hope you have a great week in your store. Thank you so much for joining. Kyle, have a great week as well, my friend. And I'm sure we'll talk soon. Okay.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for having me.
Anytime. Take care, everybody. Have a great week.